to you about our social media campaign for Two Chicks in a Chair. So a little bit of background. Our client, Two Chicks in a Chair, is a repurposed furniture store whose mission is to inspire people to see beauty and potential and breathe new life into the old. So the store is located in Shipshewana, Indiana, on a very popular street called Harrison Street, and super popular with tourists and stuff like that. The owners originally started repurposing furniture for fun, but found they had a passion for it and got into woodworking and repurposing larger items, as you can see up here. And then they decided to open the store in October of 2018. However, they do lack a strong social media presence and do not have a website for their customers to visit. So the goal and objective of our campaign is to increase sales by 15 to 20% through the use of social media and other online platforms like a website. So one of the first steps in our campaign was conducting research on our competitors and what they were doing. So as you can see here, we have the list of all the small businesses that we analyzed, which we chose based on the fact that they are also small businesses and they are located on that same popular street as Two Chicks in a Chair. After our analysis of them, we found that these businesses all had either Instagram, Facebook, or both. Some posted regularly, some did not. However, what stood out the most was that Two Chicks in a Chair was the only one that did not have a website.
Ooh. It's like a jab in my heart. Like, oh.
So for our research, we went ahead and conducted a customer feedback questionnaire. We asked 10 different questions. Those were: how easy is it to find Two Chicks in a Chair on social media? How likely are you to share Two Chicks in a Chair's posts with your friends and family? How often do you use social media to view products from small businesses? How likely are you to purchase from Two Chicks in a Chair based upon products you see online? What form of social media do you use the most? What kind of posts do you prefer to see more of on Two Chicks in a Chair's social platforms? How likely are you to view Two Chicks in a Chair's products from Facebook? How likely are you to view Two Chicks in a Chair's products from Instagram? How often do you see Two Chicks in a Chair's products on social media sites? And then finally, in your opinion, what could make Two Chicks in a Chair's communication efforts even more inviting? So based upon that research, the overarching problem that arose was the lack of online presence. The responses showed that they'd be more likely to purchase from Two Chicks in a Chair based upon a better online presence and better online image overall. And so the issue for this company is that their only online presence is their Facebook page. We don't have any other social media sites, and we don't have a website. So while they have done well on Facebook and they have a fairly good following, if we want to grow the company even more, we're gonna have to reach out a little bit and create some other online presence on different places. So the main conclusion was that we need to create a website. All of their competitors have websites, and some of them have social media, but overall, everybody has a website. It helps them stand apart a little bit. It's easier for the customers to find different information, and it helps the business reach their audience easier. Going back to the social media, 61% of the survey takers wanted to see more variety in the posts. Right now, a lot of the posts on Facebook revolve around the furniture that is sold there, but the survey takers want to see more about the different products used to restore this furniture, and then also like tutorials on how to do that. So we found that if they post more of what the survey takers want to see, that could drastically improve their views, likes, and shares on Facebook.
So based on our research, we came up with several tactics that we believe will jumpstart Two Chicks in a Chair's online presence and help increase sales. So for digital media, first things first, a functioning website that their customers can visit. From there, a personalized Two Chicks in a Chair email with subscription opportunities for customers. And then for shared media tactics, based on our research or our survey, Facebook and Instagram were the most used among our customers, so we organized professionally taken photos of their products with scheduled posting days consisting of a variety of products and posting styles like videos and interactive stories. And then same thing for Instagram. For paid media, terrestrial radio is what we decided would be the best option for us. So we create a short 10 to 20 second ad on local stations, those being Top 40 Hits Radio and Top Country Radio. We chose these because they have a variety of listeners, and it advertises to counties farther away that are still within a day's trip driving to the store. Our guerrilla marketing tactic, nothing gets people's attention like free food. So our tactic was to hand out cookies with the Two Chicks in a Chair logo on them, as well as their social handles. For our corporate social responsibility, they've actually partnered with the Boys and Girls Club of Middlebury before, and donated, I think it was a lamp, they said. And so once a month, donate an item at Two Chicks in a Chair, lamp, chair, table, etc. So lastly, our collaboration tactic, we wanted to partner with Cherry Pickers, which does similar stuff to Two Chicks in a Chair, and create a unique one-of-a-kind piece that will be posted on both Cherry Pickers and Two Chicks in a Chair social medias. We chose Cherry Pickers because they have a large following on Facebook of like 5,000, something like that. And then for the hands-on lessons, this tactic came from information from our survey. Like we said earlier, people wanted to learn how to do DIY stuff on their own and repurpose their own stuff. So once a month, customers can sign up using a Google Forms link posted to the Two Chicks in a Chair social media platforms, where they can come in and have a lesson.
So now we're on to the not fun stuff, which is the budget. So we didn't have to cover too many things for our booth tactics, but we do need to cover our broadcasted radio ads, the custom cookies, and then the donation to the Boys and Girls Club. So the most expensive by far is the radio ads. Right now, the $17,248 is kind of the average cost for that. We calculated it based upon basically the average for a 30-second ad in Indiana is going to be $88. And then we needed to do that daily, 14 weeks. We could shorten that if we need to based upon budget, but for our campaign, that's what it was. And so that gives us the $17,248 for that. Next, we have the custom cookies. Now, if anybody's tried to get custom cookies before, they are fairly expensive. And so the average is $4 per cookie. We budgeted about 250 cookies per day, and it's a 5-day campaign for that. So that's roughly $5,000 for cookies. And then lastly, we have the Boys and Girls Club donation. This would mainly just take stuff out of our inventory and products we have on our own. So we allocated about $1,000 just to kind of cover those costs for the donation. And so in total, that would bring the budget to $23,248. Next, we have our Gantt chart, and this is just going to kind of show all of our tactics. It's all written out and it's put onto a nice little timeline. So first we have our email campaign. That's going to start on May 1st, and that is continuous, that won't end. Same thing with our website. However, since we are starting from scratch, we are allocating a month from May 1st to June 1st to create that, get that up and running, make sure there's no kinks in it, and then that will launch on June 1st and again be continuous. Our Facebook, Instagram, and radio stuff will start on May 1st and will go through August 1st. Just kind of give it a test run, make sure that everything's running smoothly, and then we will evaluate after that. The guerrilla marketing tactic is our cookies. That will go from July 3rd through July 8th. The Boys and Girls Club will be donated once a month from May 1st to August 1st. The collaboration with Cherry Pickers, that is going to be between August 5th and then August 25th. And then lastly, the lessons, again, will be monthly from May 1st to August 1st. And then lastly, we have our evaluation and recommendation. So overall, to kind of track how well the campaign went, we need to make sure that we are evaluating it. Most of these aren't too hard to evaluate. For our email campaign, it would be tracking it through something like SurveyMonkey or MailTrack. And you can kind of just see who's viewed the emails, who's opened them, how many people are interacting with it, how many people respond, that kind of thing. Next, we have the website. This can typically get tracked through whoever you created the website with. So for example, with Wix, you can see how many people have visited the site, where they're from, how long they're spending on each pages, how many pages they visit throughout their time on the website, etc. So it's just helpful to see like kind of if we're hitting our target demographic, and then if they're actually staying and looking at the website or just clicking on it and clicking off. Facebook and Instagram have a lot of tools built into the actual platforms, so you should be able to track shares, likes, views, and then like popular posts on your page as well. The radio ads are a little bit more difficult to track just because we don't have access to all of their technology. However, you can track the views on your social media posts as well as your website during the ads as well as after to kind of see if those went up a lot or if it stayed the same, to see if those are actually working. So the guerrilla marketing tactic, again, that one's also a little bit difficult because you're working in person. It can be hard to track it all in the moment. But tracking in-store sales during those 5 days, as well as counting customers as they come in and see if we're actually driving in more people or if it's, again, staying the same. And then overall, our biggest recommendation is just to stick to the campaign and see it through before making changes. There have been a lot of thought put into the campaign and into the different tactics, and so sticking through it to the end will really help to see full results at the end. And if we start changing things halfway through, you won't really know if certain things worked. But afterwards, after we get the results, we can go back, see what things worked, see what things didn't, and then go back and make changes as needed. Do we have any questions?
Okay. I do, and I've never said this, and I've always thought this, man, their name. I mean, right? It's Two Chicks and a Hammer's that show, right? Or is that the name of their business
No,
that's here? It's the name of the show?
Something like that, yeah.
Right? And so it's just, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's good because it makes people think, but I've always been like, okay. And is it really two chicks? Is it
Yeah.
because it's a chick and a dude, right?
Well, it's like a family business, but like,
Okay.
yeah, the name originated from like, when I said in the beginning, like they were doing it for fun.
Right.
So it was like her neighbor, they would redo chairs and like sell them for fun, and then like,
I get it.
friend dropped out, and now it's a bigger thing, so.
Sure. I think that's difficult for them.
Yes.
Actually, I have a question. So when you were doing the research, is any of the furniture that they were refurbishing antique?
Most of it is. A lot of their lamps
Yeah.
are, and sometimes one of the owners will take things that aren't necessarily meant to be lamps and kind of turn them into them, like
Okay.
or like wine bottles, stuff like that. So I'd say the lamps are more on the antique side, but I mean anything old that needs to be redone, they'll
Did-
snatch it up.
Did you notice when you were talking to the owners if they ever told stories about the different pieces of furniture that they were either that they acquired or that they were working with?
No,
Mm-mm.
I know a lot of it comes from, there's like a big auction in Shipshewana, the town, like every Wednesday. And so they go there a lot, and I mean, there's just loads and loads of stuff. So they did talk about that.
Oh, okay.
So.
The reason why I bring that up is because every product has a story,
Mhm.
and especially every old product has a story because it has a history.
Makes me think of American Pickers.
Huh?
Yeah.
American Pickers, the show
Yeah.
American Pickers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's a case study that I had some of my, I don't remember if I shared it with my other classes last year or what, but In Wilmington, North Carolina, there's a young woman who does this kind of stuff with antiques. And you were talking about variety, and one of the things that she does on Instagram is that every product has a story because it's an antique product. And then she tells a story about the product on Instagram. And then she also tells the story about the product to the individual that might buy it, to the customer that might buy it. And then their stories combine for a new story for that product into the future. And so she only, like her whole marketing plan is based around the stories of the different products, which leads me to believe that this particular company could probably benefit from that on Instagram or TikTok. With stories from each product, especially if they go to that big auction thing where all this furniture is being sold and everything. So
That's actually a really good idea, because one of the things for the website was having a blog section.
Yeah.
And so doing that and like writing about like stories behind pieces and stuff, and then sharing that on our socials too.
And imagine that on the front page where you can click the pictures and they could flip, and there would be the story, right, for each piece, and there'd be a social sharing button down there that people could share those pieces with their social networks all over the place. Anyway, we got some work to do, folks. This is cool. Anyway, sorry. I'm excited to do that.
I have a question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, you go.
Yeah. During your research, did you find any sort of like average age for your customers of Two Chicks in a Chair? And if so, did that kind of like dictate what type of tactics you selected?
So our demographic is definitely older, just because I feel like they can appreciate that kind of furniture more. But yeah, we had to, when we were looking at which social platforms to use, in our survey we put which one are you more likely to use, and it was Facebook obviously was the biggest one, and then Instagram came in like right behind it. So those are the two that we are focusing on based on that
Kind of why
information.
we're not doing like TikTok and that kind of thing.
Yeah, not one of the
I
fun
agree with
ones.
that, yes, totally agree.
So I'm concerned about the cookies. So they're printed on the top in like icing or something with the information you had. So is there a paper information with it, or do you have like a poster with a QR code where they get the cookies? Because once you eat the cookie, you no longer have the information.
It would be like somebody handing them out, so you could have sort of like a face-to-face interaction and talk about it.
Right, that was the idea, is that, you know, you have an employee go out, hand them out, and then people are like, oh, what is this for? And then you can tell them about Two Chicks in a Chair and be like, oh, it's right over there if you want to go in and visit, you know, and then the handles, just if they wanted right there, you know, search it up, that kind of thing. But it was more like just in that moment, getting conversations going about it, so.
Well, I'm just thinking that, you know, that the older demographic is probably not gonna immediately grab their phone and look it up. They might do it later unless they eat the cookie first.
But they are likely to have like more conversations than just kind of looking at something, which is why I have somebody handing them out.
And the store also has like little information cards that if they were to go visit, hand them a card.
Exactly.
Nice.
Are you offering to make the cookies?
No.
Right, maybe we'll have
Better budget down a little bit.
No, they got it.
Another question.
Yeah.
When you were doing research, did you find out about how much it would cost to like create a website and whether or not that needed to be potentially added into your budget?
So I've created websites before. So I guess we didn't really plan on cost much for that, just because I mean that's something we could do for them. So.
Either like WordPress, there are other options.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure like what kind of website you wanted them to create, and if so, if they needed to
Absolutely. Yeah.
put some money behind that.
Cool, thanks. Appreciate it.